Rain has finally fallen on some of the many fires burning across Australia. The massive bushfires have burnt 6 million hectares of land and claimed more than 20 lives in an unprecedented crisis, which experts have warned is set to get worse. For Australia's wildlife, the projected death toll is in the billions.
It would be over 1 billion. It's hard to say how much over 1 billion, but over 1 billion for sure. Just looking at the fires in Victoria, 1.2 million hectares of Victoria has burned. And if you extrapolate using the average densities that we have for New South Wales, and that's probably a reasonable assumption to take, then we're probably looking at 1 billion for just New South Wales and Victoria alone. By the time you've added in the other states that have been subject to the wildfires, it would be certainly over 1 billion.
The fires, which are burning in all 6 Australian states, have destroyed hundreds of homes and laid waste vast swathes of bush and forest, killing and displacing the animals that live there.
There won't be very much food, if any, for them to eat. There won't be any shelter, their habitats will have gone, and they'll be moving about in a very open landscape where they're prone to predation. So they might survive the fire, and they might survive several days post-fire, but they'll be progressively searching harder and longer for resources, and probably progressively more at risk from being eaten by the predators.
Some species may be lost forever.
There are some species with very small populations, very small localised distributions, and these would be the species most at risk if the fire encompasses the entire area where they occur. That does seem to have happened for, there are several species of mammals already. A thing called the long-footed potteroo is one. It's a small to medium-sized marsupial that occurs in the east coast forests on the border between Victoria and New South Wales.
For those species that survive, it could be up to a century before populations return to their levels before the fires.
There might be small numbers coming in, but to get to anything like the numbers before the fire, 100 years for some of the more specialist species.
Bushfires aren't a new phenomenon in Australia. Sweltering heat and dry conditions means the summer months provide perfect conditions for blazes to take hold. A long period of drought, coupled with record temperatures, have meant this year's infernos are on a scale never seen before.
So as far as we can tell, the fires are, they're really high intensity, broad scale fires. So whereas the continent has experienced fires for millennia prior to now, the fires generally in the past have been smaller scale, often less intense, and that's had the effect of leaving small refuges intact. The current fires seem to be sweeping through and really taking out many of the small refugia that otherwise would be used by small animals to persist in and act as sources for recovery afterwards. So it's really a very different situation now.
Rainfall and lower temperatures brought much needed respite to some of the affected areas on Monday. But as Australia hasn't even reached the height of bushfire season yet, experts are warning the worst may be yet to come.
The fires haven't stopped, they're ongoing. There's been a little bit of rain in the southern part of the state today, but not enough to put the fires out. It's just been slowing down the rate of spread. So the problem is still there and will get worse by the end of the fire season.
Donations and messages of support have flooded in from people around the world. If you want to donate to help Australia's wildlife, the RSPCA Bushfire Appeal and the World Wildlife Fund is accepting donations. Alternatively, you can help by donating to Australia's local fire services, like the New South Wales Rural Fire Service and Queensland Fire Service.